Welcome to Recreation Roundup. I'm Cris Gears, your host, from the St. Louis Park Parks and Recreation Department. What we're going to try to do with Recreation Roundup is bring you interesting information about the recreation programs in St. Louis Park, the people that partake in them, the people that help out with them, and the people that used to take part in them. You know, basketball is a very big sport in St. Louis Park. Out of all the activities that are sponsored by different organizations all winter long, basketball is by far still the largest. It's been big since as far back as I can remember, and I've lived here for over 30 years. But perhaps the biggest basketball moment in the city's history came on a March Saturday afternoon, very much like this, a beautiful sunny Saturday afternoon, when St. Louis Park captured its one and only to date state high school basketball championship. The 1962 St. Louis Park Orioles, state champions, and where are they today? Well, why don't we take a look? Follow me along as we look back 21 years to the St. Louis Park 1962 Orioles.
With it, over to Ackland. Double screen for Ackland, goes in, lays it up, beautiful. 17 points for Ackland. The shot wasn't the beautiful part about it because it was a simple layup, but what was beautiful, here's a ball steal by Ackland. He shoots, scores. The beautiful part about it was the double block. And Ackland there showing you why he's going to be certainly an all-tournament selection. A ball steal after his own bucket and two fast baskets. And things now look rougher for South St. Paul.
Bruce Ackland was one of the starting 5 players on that year's championship teams. Joining Bruce in the lineup were Mark Zanna, Bill Hill, Larry Fundingsland, and Jerry Orbeck. Out of that group, 2, Bruce and Jerry, are still playing basketball.
That year I think we were something like 22-2 after the state tournament was over. And our 2 losses were to Hopkins, and we played them in the district play. And we were behind by 2 points with something like 15 seconds or 10 seconds to go in the game, and they had the ball. And we pressed them, they didn't get the ball in bounds, we tied the game, won it in overtime. And that was a pivotal game because we couldn't beat Hopkins. After that, we had 2 other close games in the district, easy games in the region, and then all of our games in the state tournament were real close games, right down to the last couple minutes. Members from our team that year, Jerry Orbeck and Larry Fundingsland and myself were on the state tournament, all-tournament team. In the regionals, I think that either 4 of us or 5 of us were on the all-regional team, and several of us made the... We didn't have any one star on the team. We had a very... I guess the thing that sticks out in my mind most about that team, and I've played a lot of basketball since then, is that we were the most together team that I have ever played with, and even seen in many respects, because nobody was selfish. Everybody played team-oriented basketball, and the ball always went to the open man. We didn't have any stars. I think we had 5 starters that probably averaged between 9 and 13 points a game.
Ackland to Bloomquist, to Zanna. Ackland, Fundingsland, Zanna, Hill, short, Bloomquist rebounding.
The 1962 Orioles were coached by LLoyd Holm. LLoyd is still coaching at the St. Louis Park Junior High School, and recently we asked LLoyd what he felt were the most exciting events leading up to the state tournament.
First of all, the final game of the season for Lake Conference Championship against Bloomington, where Brower stole the ball on their pass in, and they had this 6'8" center, and they didn't get the ball in. That was number 1. And the scores, so we, let's see, 20 points for them the first quarter, we got 5. Next quarter, we got 20, and they got 4. And the game went like that right down at the end, and we won by 1 point at the end, and it's also the championship. And then you go on into the tournament. The game against South High was very important, and they had a big ball club, and we ran, and we I actually the game was in our favor because their big defensive man on the boards was always out in the center of the court. And as a result, we got the rebounds. But we had some big guys, too. We had Bloomquist, we had Orbeck, 6'4", 6'5", 6'6". Front line was pretty good. And then we had all those shooters. And then, of course, the championship game against South St. Paul, which we got a very good lead in the ball game. And when they had about 12 to 14 points, and it ended up winning by about 3.
Now let's take a look at some of the highlights of that great state tournament championship game as we listen to Frank Butel from WTCN give us the commentary in front of what turns out to be the largest crowd ever in Minnesota State High School history to see a state high school championship game. More than 19,200 fans pour into Williams Arena to watch St. Louis Park and South St. Paul square off for the championship crown.
7 points for McLagan. Bob Hill, number 30. Ackland is 22. Zana is 14. Ackland from very long range. Boom! Boy, that Ackland, uncanny. Great shooting form. 11 points for Ackland. 38 to 29. A 9-point lead now for Park. Zana. Hill. Bloomquist. Zana has it. Fundingsland. Zana. To 41 to score. Park leads by 5. This is Ackland. Fundingsland going in. A layup. Good. Bloomquist rebounds. Here's Fundingsland. Ackland. 15 points for Ackland, and boy, oh boy, does he come up with key buckets. Phenomenal shooting percentage. 30 seconds left in the first half. Here goes Zegger right down the line. Goes in, blocked. Blocked by DeReamer, picked up by Ackland. 50 to 41. Here's Brower, and he walked with the ball. Anna with it, over to Ackland. Double screen for Ackland, goes in, lays it up. Beautiful. 17 points for Ackland. The shot wasn't the beautiful part about it because it was simple layup, but what was beautiful, here's a ball steal by Ackland. He shoots, scores. The beautiful part about it was the double block. And Ackland there showing you why he's going to be certainly an all-tournament selection. A ball steal after his own bucket and 2 fast baskets. And things now look rougher for South St. Paul. Here's Perriman. Beauty. 55 to 51. Park leads by 5. I hope that some of you didn't shut the game off about 30 minutes ago. And decided that maybe it might be over. Not in high school basketball. You just never can tell. Here's Ackland. Always dangerous. Bloomquist. That was a big basket. 57 to 51. Bloomquist getting that rebound in there. A minute and a half left. 58 to 57. Park leads by 1. Ackland with the ball. To Zana. To Ackland. The Fundingsland. He shoots, pass off to Bloomquist. To 57. 1 minute left. McLagan. Zana has the ball. Ackland, 50 seconds left. To Bloomquist. To Zana, 40 seconds left. Zana on the drive. To Bloomquist. He shoots, misses. Hang on to anything. finish to another great tournament. Hill to Ackland, to Funding Glen. He goes in, a layup. That about does it. 20 seconds left. Here goes Platson. Knocked out of bounds. 15 seconds left. There comes the end of the game.
All of them are successful businessmen. They own companies, or a city attorney out in Colorado. A guy is one of the high echelon guys at Gulf Oil in Texas. Another one is a professor in Canada. And then around here, Orbeck is with a steel company, and Funningsland's got his own company, and Ackland's got his own company, and they're all doing very well. Okay. And probably that's the reason why we went to the state tournament in the first place, because of the caliber of the kid we had.
It's a combination of the right chemistry, the right individuals that were coachable, and the coaching itself, which stressed team basketball.
No, I better do that one again. You know, I used to be able to make these blindfolded, but... Oh, boy. You know, those really were the good old days, but these are still the good old days. Basketball is still a great sport. We still have some great people that help run it for us. Why don't we take a look at one of those people today, Mr. Andy Peacock, who's been one of the volunteer coaches in our program for many years. Some of you have never coached before, maybe don't know what you're missing. Some of you that have, maybe would like to get a little recognition for it. Today, I'd like to take you along with me as we look at a day in the life of one of our volunteer basketball coaches. Why don't we go now and see what it's like to be a coach for a day as Andy Peacock works with the 5th grade girls basketball team in the St. Louis Park Recreation Basketball Program. In addition to his demanding coaching schedule, Andy also tries to lead a regular life on the side. He works at American Family Insurance out at the First Western State Bank building in St. Louis Park. In addition to coaching as a volunteer in our program, he also has the everyday responsibilities of people like you and I.
For me, the enjoyment that the kids get out of playing basketball or baseball, whatever sport that I may be working on at the time. And I think, hoping that someday in the future that maybe one of the kids that I've coached has gone on and done something in sports, and I can say, hey, I put a little of that there, maybe, hopefully. We're going to have to work on today, because we're going to play either the Gems or the Saints. And they've been coming along pretty strong from what I understand, so we can't take both of them. The Gems especially, probably, so we can't take them lightly, that's for sure. Fortunately, some of these teams have been taught to play zone, but that happens to be against the rules, so we're not going to learn to play a zone, even though some of the others do. We're going to stay man-to-man like the rules say. And if we get beat because of an infraction of rule, there's nothing we can do about that. We're going to play by the rules. If somebody else doesn't go by the rules, that's the break. Very first practice that I have in any sport that I may be coaching, I let the kids know that they're winners to begin with, whether they win or lose in a particular game. They're winners just for being there and trying. And obviously winning is much more fun than losing, but you can win very graciously, you can learn from winning, and you can learn from losing. And you probably learn more from losing, because then you can go and work on whatever it did to create that situation. And I think if we start just from the very beginning, as I mentioned, from the very first practice, that the ref isn't going to make a difference in the game. He may make a bad call, but he'll make a bad call for the other side too. And that he didn't lose the game for us. Maybe we lost it for ourselves, or maybe that team was just that much better than we were. And we have to take that in stride, because you can't win every time. And you have to learn to lose graciously too. It's the guard's responsibility to find that person open, rather than drive into the hoop, get it to the same, because they won't leave them open. I've never regretted coaching ever. I enjoy it thoroughly, and I feel from comments from parents and so forth that they appreciate what I do, and to me, that's very, very rewarding, and it doesn't really take that much time. An hour, maybe 2 hours a week. I certainly can spare that for the good of the kids in town or wherever it might be. Okay, that's it. Now, what you have to do is, if she stops, don't you stop. If she stops, then you make her go this way or come around this way, whatever. Try to get. You gotta get your body in front of the thing. That's it, that's it, that's it. Jump hard, that's it. The nice part of coaching kids is I have gotten to know the good kids in town. You only hear about the bad ones, but I truly have worked with nothing but good kids, and the kids that I've worked with have gone on to stay that way.
Eat your heart out, Dr. J. But for those of you not big enough to do things like this, there's a wide range of recreational activities coming your way this summer. There's baseball and softball, and of course one of the biggest, Summer Learning and Play, a cooperative program of learning and playtime brought to you by the City of St. Louis Park and the St. Louis Park Community Education Department. As you can see, there are field trips to exciting places, a variety of physical activities, interesting classes, art and craft programs, music and drama, and lots of fun and games. I'd like to thank you for joining us in this first adventure into Recreation Roundup. We're going to be on the air every Tuesday and Thursday at 5:30 on Channel 8. Why don't you tell your friends and tune in next month when we bring you more in the way of exciting recreational information. I'm Cris Gears, I've been your host, and once again I'd like to thank you for joining us.